You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Now we talk about something which is troubling as well as disturbing air travel in North India. And how? Well, North India, as you know, has been grappling with the worsening cold wave. Rampant flight delays and cancellations are, of course, making the headlines. We have seen a video of passengers eating on the Mumbai Airport runways, a result of flight delays. Now, in light of this incident, the DGCA and the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security have imposed hefty fines. The Mumbai International Airport Limited has to pay a total of rupees 90 lakhs, while Indigo has to cough up rupees 1.2 crores. Additionally, in the wake of rising air chaos, DGCA has imposed a fine of rupees 30 lakh each on Air India and SpiceJet regarding the rostering of non-Cat 3 pilots during the onset of foggy conditions. But this is not all. A video of passengers attacking a pilot on an Indigo Airlines flight also went viral a few days back. Now, a co-passenger has spoken out and stated that while it is not okay to slap, the airline crew were peddling lies repeatedly amidst delays. All this prompts us to ask one question and one question alone. How can this chaos be curbed? Is it time for a better management for a country like ours? Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, former Chief Spokesperson, Indian Air Force, is with me on the program. Group Captain UK Devnath, former Indian Air Force and defense expert, also joins me here now. Vipul Saxena, aviation expert, with us on the show as well. Commander Bakshi, it's befitting to see that these airlines have been punished for the lack of discipline that they have shown. But the fact of the matter is that, this is something which is absolutely predictable. You knew in October, you knew in November that you will have fog in Jan. Why couldn't we be better prepared? We are still talking about Cat 3B. Most of the modern airports around the world, sir, are equipped with Cat 3C. Cat 3B only allows you, to take off and land with 50 meters of visibility. The world has moved on. We are the fifth largest economy in the world. We are looking to, in fact, lead the world as the Vishwaguru. We need to get our house in order. And this, sir, without mincing any words, is also a testimony to our management, our habit of treating the consumer first.
Yes, Vineet, thank you very much. And you're very right. There is a lot expected from the organizers and the controllers, the DGCA, who have to coordinate. I've been telling you and by the way, this discussion takes place every year for the last 14, 15 years. I've been on it. And same thing has happened. We keep saying it, but probably they don't react due to some reasons. The question here lies that airlines are private organizations out to earn money. They are earning money whichever way they can. I have seen worst case scenarios, which I cannot even mention on your television. But the question is, DGCA is a public organization, is a public office run by Government of India, and is supposed to be run in the Director General Civil Aviation. Where the word aviation comes, it means the person controlling it has to be directly involved in aviation. If he does not understand aviation, like I don't understand medicine, I can't take over AIMS, that is the way it has to be looked. You cannot understand. The people who are out there actually don't follow and understand. People who are setting papers for examination have never even flown, and they are setting examination papers on flying. This aspect has to go. But question is, how should it go when we are so enamored by the process that only a bureaucrat can take over? That lacuna we must get out of our mind. This is a work-intensive, the technical activity-intensive organization where only a person involved with this technical operations, be a pilot, be an engineer, be a air crew or trainer, the cabin crew trainer, all these people have to be professionals until they are. So that is the problem. So whenever we come across the bad weather, aircraft not available, all these things, this aspect comes. This can only go if there is a centralized civil aviation body autonomously reporting to the government. made up of professional people from the aviation, all groups, pilots, navigators, if they are still viable, engineers, air engineers, and radar operators. This should be a common group. You know, in Air Force, they have an organization called DASI, Director General of Air Staff Inspection. That our body has to be there. Civil staff aviation inspection has to be there, which should go and inspect and every aspect of aviation, whichever airline is operating, whichever airfield is there, they have to be there. And everything must be answered by DGCA. DGCA should not say, oh, we are punishing that airline and we are punishing that airline. That is trying to, wash your hands off the accountability. That is not correct. It is DGCA which is responsible. If anything was there on the tarmac, yes, find out. There should be a punishment. There should be, all right, that I can understand, but there should be monitoring. Every airfield must be monitored by someone who is from the government, that he should put a stop to that activity. We don't do that. We are running it like a cooperative market or something like that, which, that doesn't augur well. Vineet, what I'd like to just tell you, I can go into various details. I don't want to go into details, but I would like to tell you that this problem is a in-house problem with the government, and Civil Aviation Minister must make sure that he brings out these changes. Let us not start catching small sergeants and clerks at low level.
Absolutely,
it is
sir.
a problem on top. They have to answer first. Let them do the work. Give them a chance. 6 months. Ask them again. Let them prepare. This, we have to do it absolutely clear. No psychophancy and no honey talking in this game. It is absolutely straightforward. This is professional activity. Has to be done by professionals and
Absolutely,
inspected by professionals.
You're quite right. And Mr. Saxena, I saw that banter between Shashi Tharoor and Jyotiraditya Scindia on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now X, where of course Mr. Tharoor brought out what the problems were, and Mr. Scindia went on to in fact defend his case, pleading that there was nothing wrong. I guess the first time to any kind of a reform, in my opinion, is to accept that there is something missing. It is to accept that, of course, the systems are not foolproof. Otherwise, how are we going to operate? How are we going to build upon this huge mistake that passengers have to endure? And this is not something which happened to a few passengers. It happened to thousands of passengers. Some of them happen to be very influential. They ranted out on X of their ordeal, and this is in fact belittling the image of India as well.
See, firstly, I would agree with the Wing Commander Bakshi's emotions and point of views. And this has been going on for last 10 years plus. But somehow the past governments have not been, listening these kind of suggestions. But I would really support the current government, which has ears towards the people's voice. And fortunately, Jyotiraditya Scindia and the current DG, I find them to be quite proactive, and at least they immediately step into the situation which warrants their intervention, and that is what happened in current scenario in Delhi. Though yes, I also pointed out in the last discussion that there was a lack of coordination, there was a lack of it seems to be planning. That during this winter season, when the Cat 3 runways are, must, it's a lifeline, how somebody can plan any kind of non-operation or maintenance of these runways. So those points we spoke already in detail yesterday. But what I feel is that I'm sure government must be thinking on this line. But then two seasons, winters and monsoons. I think the government has to, or I would say DGCA or Minister of Civil Aviation must constitute two task force with the qualified people, competent people, experienced people, which is very important in the current scenario, because DGCA is quite young organization. If you look at the kind of operation that we are handling, comparatively, we are very young organization. So DGC needs a lot of senior people, a lot of experienced people who have operated themselves in monsoon, in winter season, in fog, in snow, in all kind of operations. So I would propose that there should be at least two task force, or other three task force. One task force for the any kind of national disaster, or any kind of national emergency. One should be for the monsoon seasons, and one should be for the winters, because these are three major challenges which disrupt the aviation or flying operations in India, which has huge impact on not only the public lives, but also economy altogether. So I think there is a need to think about these aspects. India is not short of talents. There are so many talents available. Its only thing is ministry and DGCA will have to, explore and invite the talents available in the market. It is not necessary that for this kind of operation you have to be actively flying today. It is not necessary for this kind of operation you have to be actively engineer today. It is not necessary that you should be actively ATCA today. No, you need people who had done this kind of operations, who have handled this kind of operation, who have got a vision, who's got mind, a broader perspective of looking at things in a different, different levels. Those kind of people have to be brought into this kind of bodies, and slowly they can develop the second line from the DGCA, fraternity. Slowly, the whole system can be evolved to have safer flying for the passenger safety as well as for the economy. I think that is what is required to be done.
Right. Group Captain Devnath, we are building airports. We are increasing in the number of airports we have around the world, around the country. But this is also, a task and a mantle which dictates that the current airports that we have are up to the task when it comes to, seamless flying experience. Do you think that they are?
Vineet, any organization depends upon men and machine. Machine we have, whether on in air or on ground support equipment. Difficulty comes when it is man behind the machine. This difficulty is coming because aviation in India has expanded very fast. The rapid strides taken by aviation, somehow the HR part of it and the aviation training part of it could not keep pace with it. Every aviation company knows, and they know that they have to train people. There are heads of training in every aviation company, chief of training in every aviation company. It is their job to anticipate at least 4 years in advance, 3 years in advance, what will be the requirement of total number of co-pilots, pilots, captains, and highly qualified crew who can operate, say, Cat 3 landing equipment. Now, this has to be anticipated 4 to 3 years in advance because, firstly, equipment indication, every aviation company, when it starts inducting an aircraft, 3 years in advance, 2 years in advance, everything is known. That next year they will get 8 aircraft, next year they will get 12 more aircraft. Similarly, DGCA decides flight paths and flying schedules in consultation with aviation companies at least 1 year in advance. There are yearly plannings done. So, as rightly brought out, during bad weather, there is a shortage of, say, Cat 3 qualified pilots. Now, these flight standards, flight qualification features have been laid down. It is just that clash occur. One clash is some airlines expect their pilots to train with their own resources. That means the pilot has to pay from his own pocket, probably train in India and go abroad and train himself and come back. Some airlines, they fund training of the pilot with some kind of a bond, after that training done by aviation company for that particular pilot, he will have to mandatorily serve at least 2 years, 3 years in that airline. So these are small artificial barriers. One big barrier is that airlines have a shortage of pilots. for normal routine operations. So even if the chief of training, head of training, they want to dispatch a pilot for training on instrument landing procedure or on Cat 3 equipment, they are not able to spare him even during good weather days, because there is a shortage of pilots to fly normal line duties. So pilot training remains inadequate. Yes, as rightly brought out, DGCA has got a role to play. But remember, DGCA mostly is in Civil Aviation Ministry, and DGCA mostly are on the policy making side, directive side. They are not entitled to monitor day-to-day progress of training in any aviation company. This must be a key result area for any CEO. As far as landing on Cat 3's training for landing on Cat 3 runways is concerned, needs some basic experience. So sometimes airline does not have so many pilots with the basic experience needed to launch a pilot for Cat 3 equipment training. So these are small nitty-gritties. How do other countries solve this problem? Other countries solve this problem by importing expert pilots from other countries, mostly from European countries. Desertion by highly qualified crew also remains an area of concern. Difficulty is that any pilot in India who gets highly qualified, say, now we are talking about Cat 3 qualifications, he serves in that airline in India for 1 year, 6 months or 2 years, and after that he's ready to bolt and join an American or European aviation company, because they pay almost 4 times the salary. So these are HR issues, these are technical issues, and some cultural issues also there. Yes, Vineet?
You're absolutely right about that. And Commander Bakshi, what about this unruly behavior? Attacking personnel when your flights are delayed. What kind of punishment needs to be meted out to people? Of course, you are blacklisted, you're in the no-fly zone, but there have to be, punitive measures on behalf of the airlines as well when something like this transpires, because this is obviously not in the right spirit. It is giving encouragement to a culture and a practice which can in fact, turn scuffles, into something extraordinary in air.
Vineet, this happens because we are followers by mental followers. Indians have somehow got this, that other countries do it, so we'll do it. That is not the case. Our requirement is totally different. Our requirement is that we have got such a large amount of population traveling. Our law and order situation and requirements are different. This law and order aspect must be handled by DGCA. I am very sorry. I still repeat that it is that DGCA has to get more powers. DGCA cannot be a simple, just onlooking organization. If we have done it for the last 70 years, we have fooled ourselves. DGCA must take over everything, from law and order over the airfield. That is why one representative who's affiliated to DGCA or representative of the Ministry of Aviation must be out there, and he must have powers to control. If he is seeing something like this happening, he should be able to call the abiding law authorities which are available there. And if he sees the organization failing, which I've seen number of times, if they see that some airline is not conducting training properly, that airline should be banned. And that is why I said DGCA must have a running staff of professionals. That is why I quoted the example of Director General Civil Air Staff Inspection. That has to be there. Professional body must be maintained by DGCA. Let DGCA change after 70 years. Until we do that, we will keep repeating what we are repeating. So the law and order situation is simple. If pilot has been assaulted, it is a case of assault. Whatever the IPC says, he should be followed by that. Who is he to say, go and stab a pilot? I personally don't understand that. Why should he get angry? I got so enraged that what he or she was saying, I couldn't control myself, so I slapped her or boxed her. Is that correct answer? Are we going to say, and just banning him from flying Indigo for the next 5 years? Is that sufficient punishment? We are fooling ourselves again. Beneath, if we go to play on gallery like this, we will keep suffering like this. Let us make a change. India is not a follower country. India is a leader country now. We have to set pace ourselves and let us be the leaders in this. So I personally feel that law and order, as we have just now mentioned, must be taken extremely serious. It has to be, it is as my entering any office and slapping anybody, whatever may have happened. If I have slapped, is it in self-defense or is it because I got perturbed and angry because I was hungry for 5 hours? What is that sufficient? I personally feel it should not happen at all.
All right, we've run out of time. I'm going to take concluding thoughts from Mr. Saxena and wrap up with Group Captain Devnath. Mr. Saxena, what do you make of what do you make of this unruly behavior? And obviously, there have to be deterrents, created so that something like this is, people should be scared to do this.
See, I would put it a total figure, a total comment on the situation which has emerged in last 3-4 days. I think a balanced action has been taken by DGCA and Minister of Civil Aviation. On one hand, they have handed over this unruly passenger to the police. On the other hand, they have slapped heavy penalties on the airlines for their poor performances and poor caring of the passengers. I think DGCA has this enforcement powers for long before, but somehow they were a little reluctant in taking enforcement actions and penalties. But of late, in last, I would say 6 to 8 months, DGCA has taken a lot of punitive action, financial penalties on airlines, which must come as a deterrent, and airlines must think 10 times before violating any law or doing anything to discomfort the passengers. So I think in totality, the way situation has been handled by Minister of Civil Aviation and also by DGCA by punishing the erring passenger and also the airlines for various violations that they've done. So I think situation is quite under control. And if this situation sends a good message to both the passengers as well as to airlines that they cannot take things for granted, I'm sure we can see some more improvements in future.
All right, Group Captain Devnath, 30 seconds. Sir.
Yes. Yeah, Vineet, pilot training is very important. And now what brings out is pilots handling of passengers also needs a lot of training. Pilots must do some role playing during their training in which they are taught how to handle difficult passengers, how to handle passengers who are unruly and unhappy. Yes, Vineet?
You're absolutely right. In fact, the system of having marshals on board on every flight to arrest people, who indulge in something so unruly and unsophisticated, it also needs to be put into place. Would like to thank all my guests for being a part of this conversation. We're dipping into a short break on that note. Be right back.